Ready?
I guess so.
Walk in and make it happen.
So you'll walk in just from anywhere?
Yep.
Okay.
So Psalms 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." There is definitely a time period in my life when this applied to me. I was saved when I was 8 years old, and my family didn't go to church, but I went to church with friends. And I was very involved in church, and even up until a youth group in high school. And then I met a man who was much older than I was. And when I was 16 years old, I became pregnant, and then again at 18. And by the time I was 19, I had a newborn, a 2-year-old, and a 4-year-old that was his that I was taking care of. And let's just say that things got ugly fast. And he definitely kept us isolated. And I think this is when I started putting God in a box. And so my fear of my then husband became much greater than the fear of the Lord. And I knew that Jesus loved me and that I was saved, but I was trying to manage everything on my own. And so the situation became quite abusive, and I would pray for help a lot. And I would just say, Lord, help me, deliver me from this. And I felt like nothing would change. And when I got to my lowest point, and after I made a lot of bad decisions, I realized that God was there all along, extending his hand, just waiting for me to take it, to trust him. So we got divorced after about 10 years of a really difficult marriage. And at that point, I thought no one would ever want me. What would my singles ad look like? 30-year-old female, single mom, 3 kids, crazy ex-husband, too many student loans. And so then I jumped on every opportunity where I thought maybe somebody would want me. But it never worked out because I was trying to do this on my own and not wait on the Lord. So I got involved in an inappropriate relationship that took a lot of my mental health kind of hostage for several years. But God was very quietly and diligently pursuing me through this. And eventually I began to heal. I slowly began to get healthier, and I kind of let God out of that box that I'd put him in. And finally the Lord said enough. I lost a job that I felt like was my identity. I felt alone and abandoned. And he said, "You're not alone. You are my child, and I'm your identity." And around this time, the same verse kept popping up for me, Isaiah 43:19, which says, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." And so I tried dating over the next couple of years. Usually it was an online dating site. It never quite worked out. And I kept hearing the Lord say, "Just wait." And then I'd get lonely again, and the next couple months I would pursue it again, and I very clearly heard the Lord say, "Just wait." And then the verse, "Behold, I'm doing a new thing." And then I met a man who I thought could be a good fit, but he wasn't pursuing the Lord, and I prayed for him for 363 days, thinking I could just make this happen. And it didn't work out, and again the Lord said, "Behold, I'm doing a new thing, just wait." So by this time, it was February 2022. I was 42 years old. I'd been divorced for 12 years, never really had a real romantic relationship. And I took myself on vacation, and I was walking along the beach, and tears were rolling down my face. And I finally just said, "Lord, I just want what you want. And if you want me to be single forever, then that's what I want. I just want you." Most of all, I just put it in God's hands. It didn't change my hope for a husband, but all of the sorrow, the feeling like I wasn't good enough, the brokenness, I just handed it to him because I knew that he loved me and that he's good. And then on April 18th, 2022, everything began to change. A man who I had known 20 years before messaged me on Facebook, of all things, and said, "Hey, I see that you hike a lot. Can I come with you?" And I thought, okay. So I invited him with me and a couple of friends. We spent the day together, and it was great. And then on April 26th, once again, the verse came up. "Remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it?" Let's just say that things moved pretty quickly after that. We both prayed a lot. I prayed and I said, "Lord, just send me all the red flags," and none came. I was pretty freaked out, honestly. He wasn't a perfect person, but he was patient, calm, thoughtful, kind. He loved the Lord and was intent on pursuing him. And so in June of 2022, we were engaged, and in September of 2022, we were married. I am so thankful for him every day, and every day I offer him back to the Lord, and I just say, "Lord, he's yours first, and I'm yours first, and everything and everyone comes second." We aren't perfect, but we're really good together. And we've dealt with a lot of baggage, and we've both done a lot of healing. But what we found most of all is that when you give your wants and your needs to the Lord, you wait on His timing. He is so faithful. I cringe sometimes thinking about what my life would have been like had I continued to try to do it my own way. You see, God loves us too much to leave us where we are, and He loves us too much to give us anything less than His best. He's still waiting for us to take His hand, to be still, to know that He is God, and to trust Him.